Hello, welcome to part 2 of the survey. You might be wondering, why is the survey taking you so long? Well, if you see part 1, I can tell you, but really I'm just talking about all the subclasses, like individually as well as talking about the survey. So that's why it's taking so long. It's, yeah, I don't know, a lot. So, forgive me, I put timestamps at the bottom, so if you just want to see the specific class and or subclass that I'm talking about, then click the timestamps below. Thank you, and welcome back, and we're gonna get going right away. So, start off, we have the Rogue, the Phantom Rogue. Something that I would like for them to do with Rogue subclasses is put Cunning Strike as a part of things that. So I'll talk about that when I get to it, but that's basically it. Here are the main updates. Whales from the Grave now links the number of uses to Dex mod instead of proficiency bonus. Sure. Bones of the Departed now provides soul trinkets whenever you finish a long rest, allowing more reliable usage of the feature's benefits. Voice of the Dead is a new feature that allows you to cast Speak with Dead. Death's Friend now lets you gain a soul trinket when you roll initiative and have no soul trinkets. Okay, so Whales from the Grave. Immediately after you deal sneak attack damage to a creature on your turn, you can target a second creature that you can see within 30 feet. Roll half the number of sneak attack dice for your level, and the second creature takes necrotic damage equal to the roll's total as Wails of the Dead momentarily sound around them. This is equal to your dexterity mod, and regain all uses when you finish a long rest. Something I would love to see with this feature is if you use a Cunning Strike action, let's say you use Poison or Trip, right? Maybe they could maybe even just say just Poison or just Trip. Maybe they could add a Cunning Strike feature into this. All of those things are fine. But it'd be really cool if you use your sneak attack on a creature and used the Poison Cunning Strike, right? And then the second creature also had to make the con save or get poisoned. I think that'd be really cool. Or if you tripped, the second creature had to make the dex save or be knocked prone. Whispers of the Dead. When you finish a short or long rest, you can choose a skill or tool proficiency that you lack and gain it. The ghostly presence shares its knowledge. Ooh. Ah. Yeah, they had that as well. Once per short or long rest, Spirit teaches you a skill or tool proficiency. That's fine. Whatever. It's alright. I think as a level 3 feature, these are okay. But as I said, I would like them to add that thing. Yes. So, Whales from the Grave. Say changes. Whispers of the Dead is fine. So, now you have Tokens of the Departed, which is kind of like their main feature that they don't get to level 9 because rogues get weird subclass stuff. When a life ends in your presence, actually, this is something else. This isn't something else. This is the old one. Here's the dead are drawn to you, and echoes of their past lives magically manifest as strange curios which resonate with power. Finish a long rest, you gain 2 soul trinkets. Each soul trinket is a tiny object. The DM determines the trinket's form or has you roll on the trinket table in the player's handbook to generate it. These trinkets last until you finish a long rest, at which point they disintegrate. If you ever move more than 30 feet from a trinket, the trinket teleports to you, appearing somewhere on your person. The number of soul trinkets you gain when you finish a long rest increases when you reach rogue levels 13 and 17. To use a soul trinket, you could use them in the following ways. Death's Knell. If you deal sneak attack damage on your turn, you could expend a soul trinket and use Wails from the Grave without spending a use of the feature. Then the trinket is destroyed. So, just in case you don't understand what this means, once per long rest, if you do sneak attack, you can have one extra feature usage of Wails from the Grave. This is terrible. I don't need to explain to you that this is terrible. It's terrible. You get 5 uses of it at this point. You're level 9. You get 1 extra per long rest. It's not good. But are the other ones good? Who knows? Life Essence. You have at least 1 trinket. You have advantage on death saves and con saves. It's okay. It's not good, but it's okay. Spirit Query. You can take a magic action to expend a soul trinket and cast Augury. Wowee. Augury. Let me just remind people what that does. You receive an omen from an otherworldly entity about the results of a course of action that you plan to take within the next 30 minutes. The DM chooses the omen from the omens table. It's either wheel and woe, or indifference. If you cast a spell more than once, there's a chance, for each chance after casting the first time, that you get no answer. So, yep. It's a level 2 spell. You are a level 9 rogue. But hey, you know what? If a creature you can see within 30 feet of you dies, you can take a reaction to regain an expended soul trinket. Wow. That was the only way to get them before, by the way. Except, before you had a maximum amount equal to your proficiency bonus. So, realistically, it's worse. You get less of them. You get a long rest, but, you know, I always tend to go with how the feature is intended as opposed to how it's actually written when I DM. So if people try doing bag of rats, right? You just kill a bunch of tokens and you get a bunch equal to your proficiency bonus. I'm like, don't do that. But I'm gonna have to say, level 17, you used to be able to have 6. This is just worse. You get 2 at 9, and you previously got 4. But hey, you know what? Actually, no, it's only when you gain a long rest, right? Let me not be a liar. Hold on. Finish a long rest, you gain 2. For soul trinkets you gain when you finish a long rest increases. Wait, is there not a max amount anymore? A long rest you gain 2. Trinkets last until you finish another. Okay, I don't think this is intended. I must be missing it. I'm just gonna assume it means you get unlimited, quote unquote, but if you finish a long rest, they go away. Which is mildly dangerous to print. But the effects are so bad that who cares? This is kind of an ass feature. Alright, I don't know. Just telling it how it is. Especially without Wails of the Grave being good. If they made it good, Tokens of the Departed. This is ass. This is done really badly, I think. But hey, you get a second level 9 feature. Wow, you can cast Speak with Dead once without a spell slot. Every short rest. That's okay. That's alright. Why not? I think that's fine. It's gonna be a little annoying if you have a player that's like, I speak to every single dead body that we come across. But it is once per short rest, so they can't do that. So, whatever. And there's already a Warlock invocation that lets you do it like infinite. So. Level 13. You get Ghost Walk. As a bonus action, you get a spectral form, getting the benefits below for 10 minutes. Or until you end them. Once you use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest, unless you expend and destroy a soul trinket. Okay, so this is another use for soul trinket. You gain a fly speed of 10 feet. You can hover. Okay? Attack rolls have disadvantage against you. You can move through occupied spaces as if they were difficult terrain. At the end of your turn, you can take 1d10. Okay. That's pretty good. Kind of. Sort of. Fly speed of 10 feet is really bad. I guess a fly speed of 10 feet and can hover means that you just can fight over a pit, I guess. But that's so... It's not even equal to your walking speed. But, I mean, some of the other stuff is really cool. Let's see. You can become like a ghost. As a bonus action, you get a spectral form. You have a flying speed of 10 feet. You can hover. Attack rolls disadvantage. You can also move objects in terrain. But take 1d10 force damage. This does just say you can move through occupied spaces. It doesn't say you can move through objects. So is this a nerf? I feel like this is a nerf, isn't it? Or is an occupied space... Here, let me look it up just to be sure I'm not misinforming people. Are occupied spaces... Are walls considered occupied spaces 5e? No. So it's a nerf. Fuck. That's like the point. This is kind of... I mean, attack rolls having disadvantage against you is alright. A 10-foot fly speed and moving through occupied spaces as if they're difficult terrain, like... It's not very good, is it? I just can't believe I read that that ranger subclass. And now I'm reading this. Like, this is crazy. Level 17, Death's Friend. Association with death has become so close that you get the following benefits. When you use your Whales from the Grave, you can deal necrotic for the first and second creature. Oh shit, that's a ton of damage. Draw of Death. When you roll initiative, you regain a soul trinket. If you have none, that's terrible. And before it was at the end of a long rest, you get a soul trinket if you don't have it. Okay, well, obviously I don't like that, so I would very much like the second affected creature to also be affected by your options. Please, please, wizards, come on. I feel like going through 5-foot thick walls is like the point of this feature, and you should be able to. Keeps you from raiding. Death's Friend is green. Just add a cap to trinkets. Have them not go away on long rest. And just give them one up to their max with this feature. I don't know how many times we have to teach them this lesson. Like, what the fuck? Have you played a Shadow Sorcerer? Yeah. You play tested? No. How do you feel about Shadow Sorcery? Alright. How did they change Shadow Sorcery? Eyes of the Dark now grants you blind sight and the ability to see through darkness of any spell you cast. That's nice. Shadow Spells is a new feature that gives you prepared spells. It didn't have that before, which is great. Spirits of Ill Omen, formerly Hounds of Ill Omen, now uses Summon Undead, allowing for more versatility and scaling. Oh, they're not dogs anymore? Them being dogs was so nice. What the hell? Also, this feature didn't really need scaling, because the dogs were, like, untargetable and not real. Like, is this gaslighting? Maybe it's gaslighting. I don't know. Maybe they just forgot how good. But whatever. Sure. Umbral Form now gives you 1 for use of the form for long rest. Strength of the Grave has been improved and moved to the benefits of this form. They moved a level 1 feature to level 18. I already don't like that, but alright. Eyes of the Dark. Before, you had dark vision with a range of 120 feet. When you reach 3rd level, you learn darkness, which is what you got before, but it lets you see through it. This is going to be much better, I assume, because now you have blind sight within 10 feet. Also, if a spell creates darkness, you can see through the spell's darkness. Both these things are good. I assume you get darkness. You get darkness. You get like runes, you get Pass Without Trace, you get Hunger for Bar, you get Summon Undead. All very, very cool that you get these always prepared. You didn't get any prepared spells before Shadow Sorcerer, so this is great. Both of these features, very good. So, I'm just going to go Eyes of the Dark, green, Shadow Spells, green. Very good features. Alright, instead of Hounds of Ill Omen, which was very good, you can cast Summon Undead without a material component. You can also cast it once without a spell slot. Regain the ability to cast it in this way when you finish a long rest. If you start casting the spell, you can modify it so it doesn't require concentration. If you do so, the spell's duration becomes 1 minute. Oh boy. 1 minute. Okay, what did it do before? You could call forth, as a bonus action, a Hound of Ill Omen. Use 3 sorcery points to get a Hound of Ill Omen. Which was good. Just good feature. It had some scaling. Targets 1 creature within 120 feet. Use the Direwolf statistics, which, by the way, Direwolf, pretty good. Well, whatever. Yeah. It's medium, not large. It has temp HP equal to your sorcerer level. Good. So it did scale. Not a little bit. It can move through other creatures and objects, as if it was difficult terrain. It's good. Start of the turn, the Hound automatically knows its target's location if the target was hidden. Yeah, roll initiative for the Hound. On its turn, it can only move towards the target. It can only use its action to attack. It can make opportunity attacks, but only against the target. Additionally, if the Hound is within 5 feet, the target has disadvantage on saving throws. Which is the big main thing that's very good. Like, I don't know. It's a nice feature. And now it's just Summon Undead. It's only Summon Undead. It's not a dog anymore. Summon undead. It could be incorporeal, so you could make it a ghost. It could frighten. If it's a skeleton, it gets a bow. If it's putrid, it can poison. This is a good feature, but it's not the same feature at all. Also, you can cast it once without a spell slot, which is the only way you can do that. By the way, it doesn't scale up. So, essentially, that was a lie. You can cast it once without a spell slot at 2nd level. No, 3rd level. Sorry, 3rd level. It's terrible. And you cannot concentrate on it to get a... Although, that one you can upcast. So you can upcast it to only last for a minute. At whatever level you want. But... Man, that's not it, man. That is not it at all. It is not the dog. The dog, it is not. The dog is much better than this. Having disadvantage on saves, it's great. Yeah. Also, you didn't have to concentrate on the dog. And the dog you could summon with sorcery points. You didn't have to use a spell slot. I just don't get it. Gonna have to be a yellow for me, dog. When you're in dim light or darkness, you can take a bonus action to teleport. Yeah. It's the same, I assume. Dim light or darkness, you can bonus action, you can teleport. Yeah. It's the same. Very good feature. No comment. Umbral form. Okay. By the way, at level 1, you used to get a thing called Strength of the Grave. Which basically, if damage reduces you to 0 hit points, you can make a charisma save. On success, instead of dying, you drop to 1. Wow. Once per long rest. Which, it's not awesome, but you're gonna die a lot more when you're level 1 to level 17 than when you're level 18. Just saying. But, okay, they got rid of that, sure. What do we get instead? You can move through unoccupied spaces as if they were difficult terrain. If you end your turn in space, you get 1 time. So, you can't move through walls or anything. That's fine for this, I think. But, yeah. It was the same before. But that's basically all it did. You have resistance to all damage except for Force and Radiant. No, it did that as well. I lied. But this was your level 1 feature. You're up to 0 hit points. You can make a charisma save if you succeed. Hit points instead change to a number equal to 3 times your sorcerer level. I mean, that's better. It's much better than it used to be. And I think it's a good trade-off to lose this and get it later and to get shadow spells. So, not mad about that. Spirits of Ill Omen is an L, though. So, this is good. This is good. I like it. Just need some tweaks. Sounds are better. And cooler. People like the shadow dog use. Please give saving throw help on summon. I don't know. They probably are going to ignore that, but I think otherwise, totally fine. Good changes all around. Hexblade. Everyone's played a Hexblade. From what I heard, it's uber doggy. Hexblade spells. Formerly expand a spell list. Now gives you a list of all your prepared spells. Wow. Crazy. They still give you shield, though. Wrathful Smite, Arcane Vigor, Hex, Magic Weapon, Conjure Barrage. Conjure Barrage? What the fuck? They get Conjure Barrage and Steel Wind Strike? That's just disrespectful. But whatever. Lifestealer is a new feature that interacts with the Hex spell to provide healing and damage. Wowie wowie. You now get Hex, so you're basically a ranger. Basically, what this reads is, you're now a ranger and a warlock. Wow. Cool. So, you get this. Yeah. Before... Where's my Hexblade Warlock? Right at level 1, you get your feature, so it's a nerf just by being in the 2024 handbook, but nonetheless. You don't get... You get a bunch of this stuff. I mean, it's not all the same. Some of it's worse. You don't get Conjure Barrage, I'll tell you that much. And you don't get it automatically prepared. So this is just a buff. This is just better. As far as I'm concerned. It's just better. Hexblade Manifest. You can summon a blade. Wowie wowie. Yeah, you don't really need Hex Warrior because of things. However, I will say, you kind of do. Kind of need it. I'll tell you when I get to it. But here you go. You can summon Echoes of a Blade. You gain benefits. You get Hexblade Curse. You can cast Hex without a spell slot, equal to your Charisma mod. You gain expended uses when you get a long rest. When you cast Hex, Spectral Weapon, resembling your patron, orbits the target. Cool. Hexblade Maneuvers. Once per turn, if you hit a target cursed with Hex, you can do a maneuver. Get some Battle Master. That's cool. Right? Like, sure. Why not? The target makes a con save against your spell save. On a failed save. Lots of save language. Target can't make opportunity attacks and its speed is halved. Pretty good. Arrowing Blade. Target makes a wisdom saving throw against your spell save DC. Yeah. On a failed save, the next time they make an attack roll against a creature other than you, target takes necrotic damage, equal to your charisma modifier. So it's a soft taunt. It's alright. Steaming mark. Target has disadvantage on the next saving throw it makes before the start of next turn. It's very good. I really need to talk about how it's really good. It just is really good. So you can do this once per turn if they're hexed. So, it's nice. Fun little maneuvers. Notably, something you do not get right at level 1. You do not get proficiency with medium armor, shields, and martial weapons. Now, warlocks don't get proficiency in medium armor, shields, or martial weapons. So that's something to keep in mind. Admittedly, if you take what? Pact of the Blade, you can get proficiency in martial weapons. You just have to make it, but if you do, you do have proficiency in martial weapons. So that's fine. But it is worth noting that if you don't have Pact of the Blade, you do not have proficiency in martial weapons if you have Hexblade. And you don't get weapon masteries. And you don't get medium armor. And you don't get shields. So you are a light armor character who has some cool features, but you will die. you will die. Yeah. So worth noting. But hey, maybe you get something to help you with Life Stealer. That's fun. If a target cursed by Hex drops to 0, you regain hit points equal to 1d8 plus your charisma. That's pretty good. Especially against a bunch of goblins. You kill a goblin. The text, you get potentially, 9 HP every time that happens? On average? If you have 20 charisma, which you probably won't at level 6, but, whatever. It's pretty good. No notes. Once per turn, if you make an attack roll against a target cursed by Hex, and you miss, you can deal necrotic damage to the creature equal to your charisma modifier. Something that's very funny is you could just take a great sword with graze once per turn. You miss. Oh darn. I guess you're just gonna take, 5 plus 5? Isn't graze 5 damage? Attack roll misses, you can deal damage equal to the ability modifier. Oh, yeah. So if it's charisma, yeah, you just deal 10 damage. Oops, I missed. Oops, take 10 damage. Oops. Pretty good. Yeah. It's pretty funny. In some cases you might just want to not hit. But yeah. Alright. What did you lose for that? Admittedly, no one really cared about this feature, right? But you lost a cursed specter. You can curse the soul of a person you slay, temporarily binding it to your service. When you slay a humanoid, you can cause its spirit to rise from its corpse as a specter. Statistics for which are in the monster manual. When the specter appears, it gains temporary hit points, equal to half your warlock level. Roll initiative for the specter, which has its own turns. Yeah, so that's what it is. To be real, people didn't really use this feature that much, or care that much. I would say 1 in 100 Hexblade Warlocks even took more than a single level in the class. Sometimes you take 2, because you got invocations at 2, but I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, I don't think you usually took more than that, which, whatever, fine with me. So I think this feature is much better than the old one. This is 10. Armor of Hexes. If you take damage from a cursed target from your hex, you can take a reaction to reduce the damage by an amount equal to 2d8 plus your charisma. So this is a reaction. You can't be doing opportunity attacks or other things like shield, right? Which, admittedly, you probably would rather use shield and not get hit at all than reduce the damage amount by 2d8 plus your charisma modifier, but, if you pretend that this is good, or if you're just like, I don't want to use a spell slot on shield because I only have 2 or 3 spell slots. I think you have 3 at level 10. Pretty sure you do. You don't. You get your 3rd at level 11. I'm a liar. Okay. I'm surprised. But whatever. Yeah. It's not awesome, but it could be like 13 less damage sometimes. And you could use it on saving throws? Yeah, it's just damage. So if someone fireballs you, you can't use shield. And this doesn't use a spell slot. So it exists. You'll need it. You'll need it a lot. Before, if the target cursed by your hex hits you with an attack roll, you can use a reaction to roll a d6. On a 4 or higher, the attack just misses you. That seems... Okay, well, like I said, you can use this on saves. So if you fail a save, it does damage. This is pretty good. And honestly, you were probably happier to use a shield before anyway than use Armor of Hexes. But I will say, just against attack rolls, the old one seems better than this one. Oops, I guess. I don't know. Master of Hexes. Alright, here we go. Your patron's accursed might flows even more strongly through you. Any attack roll you make against this creature cursed by Hex, you get a crit on a 19 instead of a 20. Yippee. Infectious Hex. You use one of your Hexblade maneuvers, you can target an additional creature. That's really cool. And the additional creature takes some necrotic damage. I think that's awesome. Resilient Hex. Taking damage can't break your concentration on Hex. Good. That's great. Yeah. Before, if someone who had Hexblade's curse died, you can apply a curse to a different creature, which you could just do with Hex. So whatever, if you apply the curse in this way, you don't regain hit points from the death previously cursed creature. Yeah, right. The new one is the new Masterful Hex, better in every regard. I literally only have one note, and that is they need medium armor proficiency or shield proficiency or both. That's it. Honestly, I think they're fine otherwise because of the features that are already in it. So, I'll accept changes. Spells are good. These are all pretty good. Yeah. I should have marked something as yellow just to say that. Well, I can go back, right? I think they need the armor proficiency and shield proficiency, or they will just die. Or I guess people will just always take a fighter level. Yeah. Undead Warlock. Yes. I was a big fan of the Undead Warlock. The biggest problem is they were bad. Yeah. So, what did they change for the Undead Warlock? Undead spells, formerly expanded spell list. It's gonna just be better, gives you a list of always prepared spells. Brave Touched now allows your spells and attacks to ignore resistance to necrotic damage. Sure. Necrotic Husk no longer requires a reaction to use its secondary feature, and it restores you to a number of hit points equal to 10 times your charisma. Superior Dread is a new feature that improves your form of dread, allowing you to fly, regain hit points, and improve your spellcasting. It's a lot of stuff. So, what do we got? Form of Dread. Gain temp HP equal to 1d10 plus your Warlock level. That is the same. You have immunity to the Frightened condition. Additionally, once per turn, if you hit a creature with an attack roll, you can force it to make a Wisdom save against your spell save DC. On a failed save, they have the Frightened condition until the end of your next turn. That's pretty good. I mean, that's pretty good, I would say. And that is the same as it was before. So, this is completely unchanged. Which, to be fair, I think Form of Dread is a good feature. And it just was always a good feature. So, you know, no notes. Let's see, the spells. Oh, getting False Life kind of sucks, because you probably are just going to get the False Life feature. Well, maybe you're not, actually, because of Form of Dread. Because temp HP doesn't stack. Maybe not. Get blindness, deafness. Don't get Bane now. Get Ray of Sickness instead of Bane. I mean, I like Bane, so not getting that kind of sucks. But Warlocks get it anyway. So, I don't know, whatever. Speak with Dead. Vampiric Touch. You don't get Phantom Steed anymore. Get Phantasmal Killer and Death Ward. Phantasmal Killer's good, but you don't get Greater Invisibility, which is pretty sad. Warlocks don't get Greater Invisibility either, so I would like to have that instead. And Phantasmal Killer is good, but I want Greater Invisibility back. And you know what? Bane as well, because I think good spells are good. So I'm just gonna say I prefer the old spell list. So Form of Dread, it's good. Undead spells, not good. Okay. Grave Touched. Your patron's powers have a profound effect on your body and magic, granting you the following benefits. When you cast a spell or hit a creature with an attack roll, deal necrotic damage. The damage dealt ignores resistance to necrotic damage. If you hit a creature with an attack roll, you can replace the damage with necrotic. You can re-roll one of the damage die when you determine necrotic. I feel like ignoring resistance is better, but you can't change it to necrotic or re-roll it. Which, once per turn, when you cast a spell that deals damage, you can change the spell style. Okay, so that is a thing. You don't gain exhaustion levels from dehydration, malnutrition, or suffocation. You don't need to sleep, and magic can't put you to sleep. Yeah, this is very good. It is technically better than it was. So, well, sort of. You don't gain exhaustion from suffocation. But before, you didn't need to breathe, so you could just live underwater. And you don't get the reroll anymore. Ooh. This is already like a struggling subclass. Necrotic Husk. Connection to Undeath now saturates your body. And the following benefits. You have resistance to necrotic damage while using Form of Dread. You have immunity to necrotic. Okay. That was already a thing. If you drop to 0 hit points and don't die, you can cause your body to erupt. Each creature makes a con save, taking necrotic damage. Your hit points then change to 10 times your charisma. And you gain exhaustion. Ugh, you gain exhaustion. Ew. Ew. That's terrible. I mean, that was the case before. Yeah, before you had to use a reaction to do this. And you got 1 health and didn't restore a bunch of health. So it's better than it was. It's not my favorite feature, but it's good enough. Form of Dread improves giving you flight. And fly speed equal to your speed and can hover. This is just new. Yeah, it just replaces the old one. If you cast a Warlock spell from Conjuration or Necromancy, you use it without verbal, somatic material, except material that are consumed by the spell or have a cost. Does this... It probably matters. It almost certainly matters. Vitality Siphon. Once per turn, when you deal necrotic damage to a creature, you regain hit points. Equal to your charisma. That's nice. Just 5 HP once per turn if you're doing necrotic damage. Which you probably are. So, it's pretty good. Before, you got resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing. Although you had to use an action to do this before. So this is just Form of Dread improvements. This is, as an action, you project your spirit. Your body is unconscious and in a state of suspended animation. So your body just exists on the ground. So that's bad. Spirit resembles your mortal form. Any damage applied to your spirit or physical body affects the other. Your spirit can remain inside of your body for an hour while projecting. Yeah, okay. Your spirit and body gain resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, slashing. Very good. When you cast a spell of conjuration or necromancy, it doesn't require some material that lack gold cost. Same as in this. You have a flying speed equal to your walking speed. Hover, you can move through creatures and objects. Which is good. Didn't they add that? When using your Form of Dread, once during each of your turn, when you deal necrotic damage to a creature, you regain hit points equal to half the amount of necrotic damage dealt. Which isn't a lot. Right? No, it's any necrotic. When you deal necrotic damage. Yeah, that's better than 5. Almost always, that's better than 5. But this is every time you use your Form of Dread, as opposed to before it was once per long rest, and your body was lying on the ground. But there were so many things that made it better. But also it was an action, and Form of Dread is a bonus action. What do they call it in the other ones? It's, you can move through stuff. Incorporeal movement. Just gonna copy that. That's gonna be another yellow. Damn. That's unfortunate. Okay. The old spells were largely preferred for me. Grave Touched is this one. Right. I think it's not much better than the old, and in many cases worse than the old version of an already struggling subclass. I think this needs incorporeal movement, but then it's fine. Okay, I guess we're done, and I'm not gonna bore you all by filling out all this shit at the end. So, thank you all for joining me. That was a really long 2-parter, but I had a lot of fun. Sorry if you didn't. See you next time. Peace and love. Bye.